Hey, what's up, yo? My name is Millennial Smark, and I'm bringing you the slop, the whole slop, and nothing but the slop. And boys, we're back in business, boys. We are back in business with some grade A slop-a-rooney. I got the slop for you, boys. Pull up in your car, come to the window, order some slop. I'm gonna give it to you fast and hard like I'm Diddy and it's 1997. Check this out. I got this all in chronological order. Yes, it's once again our good old pal Ricochet. He won't and he can't stop crashing out. So it all starts off like this. This is kind of like the prequel, okay? Before we actually get to the main topic in itself. Raj Giri puts out this tweet. He says, and this was yesterday, mind you, man, or maybe 2 days ago, either yesterday or 2 days ago, man, to go from a stadium to this venue, I don't know. It looks like the size of a movie theater. Talking about AEW Dynamite's arena, the show after the All In event, right? And then this fan underneath him said, I don't get it, and I've begged fans to explain it to me. Of which Ricochet, who has nothing, he was not tweeted at, no one came at him, no one tagged him, nothing. He just randomly showed up in this fucking random ass thread, and he's like, you don't get it because you're ignorant. No amount of explanation will suffice because, again, you're ignorance. Mind you, no one said anything to him that day. Maybe the guy went back and forth with him. I don't know. But that's besides the point, because the main course, the main creme de la creme comes the next day, earlier, yesterday, right? So Raj Giri puts out this, right? He says, I'm not saying, oh, actually, this was probably 2 days ago, most likely. Yeah, 2 days ago. I'm not saying they should have booked the United Center, but are there not venues in Chicago that can hold 4K? Okay, cool. That's that guy's opinion, right? Well, not according to Ricochet, who once again was not tweeted at all. Was not. I repeat, he was not at all tagged. He randomly shows up in the same fucking person's thread, right? He goes, imagine spending your whole day tweeting a company just hoping and praying someone gives you some attention. Here's your attention, dude. Hopefully your self-esteem is high now. Okay, mind you, this is the second time Ricochet has showed up inside this guy's thread. He talks about, oh, well, imagine tweeting all day hoping a company gives attention. You gave him attention the day before or a couple of hours prior. You did that already before this tweet, randomly, without anyone tagging your dumb, bald-headed ass. But it gets better because now Ricochet is now arguing with people within the thread in itself. So this person comes at him. He's like, for someone like you that claims to be at the top and be comfortable and happy, you spend a lot of time dealing with the negativity from fans and feeding into it. Which then Ricochet responds with by saying, the people I talk to and about are not fans. They're ignorant marks that watch from the other side of the barrier, who believe their opinion means something to the people who actually work in the industry. I shit you not. I shit you not, that was his response. His response to people being marks are, check it out, guys. You have to be in the industry in order to judge the company for who it is. Mind you, Ricochet is going back and forth with the marks. Let me ask you guys a question. Would you ever see Jerry Briscoe go back and forth with the marks? Would you ever see Terry Funk go back and forth with the marks? Huh? Anybody? Huh? Anybody? Huh? I'm waiting. Would you see anybody, like, for an example, call me crazy, Harley Race, going back and forth with the marks? No? Oh, okay. We can go up a couple of generations higher. Would you see Triple H? Huh? Anybody? Rock? Austin? Taker? Anybody? Any of these guys? Back and forth with the marks? Let's go up a couple more generations. Would you see Randy Orton, John Cena, any of these guys go back and forth with the marks? How about this generation? You're going to see Roman Reigns going back and forth with the marks? According to Ricochet, no. Not according to Ricochet. Ricochet instead wants to go back and forth with the marks. And if you go back and forth with Ricochet in regards to the marks, then that makes you a mark. Boy, oh boy, man. I swear the shit that comes out of these people's mouths, I swear to God, bro, this is why I keep trying to tell everybody. The biggest marks in the business are the wrestlers. It's the wrestlers, but it gets better. Because, of course, whenever you look at any Ricochet's tweet, always remember that he's always going to be the butt of every fucking joke, right? So the Raj Giri guy, who he has now gone after twice, unsolicitedly, right? Raj Giri first tweets at him. He goes, "One day a quarter hour will go up with Ricochet in a match. It hasn't happened yet, but one day it has to. No." Going back and forth with him, right? And then he says, "By the law of averages, it has to happen at least once. But the problem is, Ricochet is there to make sure it doesn't. He is an anti-draw." And of course, you got the people from the AEW side. They're now underneath this tweet and they're now harassing him and stuff like that. All because Buddy just asked the relevant question. He asked whether or not AEW should be leaving their, initial WrestleMania-esque arena to come to an arena that's, shitting not even 1/25 of their fucking audience. Seems like a reasonable take to me. Maybe that's just me, right? I wish then this all ended with Raj Giri hitting the final blow to Mr. Ricochet by saying, "I'm in first class while Ricochet is in 19B. Ain't nothing wrong with it, but don't doubt my success when you're a B- player." I don't know, but if I was Ricochet, I would probably take the time to stop being such a mark myself and constantly putting myself in situations where it's not really merited, because it feels like every time I go to war with the so-called marks, I always end up getting my ass owned. No Diddy, I literally mean that, because Ricochet likes to play with his own ass, literally and figuratively. But it gets better, because of course, when it's Raj Giri, who I believe he used to own his own publication, or at least one of the whole internet, internet articles or dirt sheets back in the days. I don't know which one it was, but all in all, Raj Giri, he's in the same field as a Sean Ross Sapp. Right? He's in the same field as most of these people, these wrestling journalists who tend to suck the dick of AEW. He just so happens to be the odd one out, but that's neither here nor there, right? For all intents and purposes, he's no different than a Dave Meltzer, right? No different. They do different jobs, but for all intents and purposes, both guys who like to look at the backstage stuff and then give it to the people outside, right? And then we all reflect off of it. So tell me why Dave Meltzer goes out of his way, and of course, because it's Dave Meltzer, he likes to suck the dick of AEW, and he goes out of his way to blow the absolute shit out of the ratings in regards to what AEW's been doing this week. So then you get this guy who says, if you read this week's One, the Wrestling Observer newsletter, you see the clear bias reporting and how both companies' successes and failures are presented. It's actually insane. Because of course, AEW, whenever they're successful, it's touting, and downplaying WWE successes as well. You kind of expect it to be the case because it's WWE. But when the failures are presented, for an example like NXT, you just lay out the numbers and say, boom, there you go, that's NXT. 586,000, that's all they got. But with AEW, it's 588,000. But let me explain to you why they got 588,000. And then you give the plausible deniability by suggesting, well, I talked about why NXT ended up getting these numbers. Yeah, but you didn't put it in the tweet. You talked about it instead on your podcast and explained it a little bit more thoroughly, but more people are going to see your tweet versus your actual podcast. It's like how those news people typically like to write out all their disparaging remarks about a political pundit, but all the way down in paragraph 17, they eventually get to the point when they start to disparage the other side, but they know for a fact eventually you're not going to get to that, right? Or the people on YouTube who like to lie and spread misinformation, but then eventually they put the correct information in the description box, and they know you're not going to read the description box, so instead they're just like, yeah. Hence why I make it a point whenever I talk about these things to point out the fact that link is in the description box below and probably the first 10 seconds of the fucking video. But never mind that, right? Because this guy who said, if you read this week's one, you see the clear bias reporting and how both companies' successes and failures are presented, is actually insane. Ricochet chimes in out of nowhere again because no one tagged this motherfucker. He says, quit acting like every single one of you aren't biased either. That's his response, by the way. That's how he interacts with this particular wrestling journalist. When it's Raj Giri who's talking about AEW, you have to come in a certain way, right? But when it's Dave Meltzer, you come at him with the quit acting like every single one of you aren't biased already. Oh, but it gets a little bit deeper, right? So a fan chimes in, I would agree, but there's a difference between a fan and a reporter. Fans get to choose that, even though tribalism is fucking dumb, but reporters should be unbiased. Of which, then Ricochet says, don't watch or read his stuff. That's Ricochet's response. Don't watch or read Dave Meltzer's stuff if you know it's going to bother you. So then another fan chimes in, right? They go, you're comparing a fan to a journalist, someone who's supposed to have an inherent unbiased perspective based on facts. Do you even understand how any of this works? Fans are expected to be biased. That's part of the fandom. Of which Ricochet responds with by saying he's not supposed to do anything but say his opinion on his newsletter. He's highlighting supposed in his, not newsletter, mind you, keep that in mind. How much weight you all choose to put behind it are on you. Once again, notice what he says. How much weight you all choose to put behind it is on you. Well, golly gee willikers, it's almost as if your bias is fucking you wouldn't extend that same courtesy when it was Raj Giri. Oh, that's right, because Raj Giri actually came after AEW. Golly gee willikers, my whole brain is completely, it's flooded with tribalism. So much tribalism, just completely flooding up my goddamn noodle upstairs that I can't be able to decipher even remotely what any of what Ricochet is saying even means, right? It's fucking ludicrous. It is outright ludicrous how Ricochet can sit here and you fuckers who claim all the time that Ricochet, Devontae, he's just playing the gimmick. He's just working the marks. He's outright telling you, okay, where's the gimmick? Where's the gimmick, huh? What's the work here? Taking up for AEW? Taking up for Dave Meltzer? Bashing people who go up against AEW? Where's the work? I'm missing this here. Where's the gimmick, huh? Where? Ricochet's a heel, right? One would think that he should probably be bashing AEW if there was some type of gimmick being worked here. Where's the gimmick? Where's the fucking work? It's almost as if he actually believes the things that he says and he believes the things that he talks about. And once again, for the millionth, billionth, gazillionth, jillionth, badillionth time, he actually is saying the quiet part out loud. Has that ever seeped into any of you people's minds who are clamoring for Ricochet to keep talk your shit, Ricochet, talk your shit, plausible deniability, though, right? Plausible deniability, and let's make something perfectly fucking clear. I absolutely love how Dave Meltzer is an unbiased reporter. That's what people like to say, right? Dave Meltzer is an unbiased reporter. The man of the people, they like to claim when it comes to unbiased reporting of professional wrestling. People such as Sean Ross Sapp taking up for a Dave Meltzer when it comes to this unbiased reporting in regards to AEW. Yet, when somebody else is in opposition in regards to reporting what they believe to be the case in regards to journalism, it seems as if one of the actual people who work for the company hints to like one, but not like the other. I mean, I don't understand. Aren't we all marks? So shouldn't we all be treated the same? That's right. We won't treat everybody the same if you're sucking our dick, if you're licking our assholes without any tissue and you let us fart in your mouth. Makes all the sense in the world to me. It took me a minute to figure it out. Oh, wait, no, it didn't. because it's common sense and it has always been in front of our fucking faces when talking about Ricochet, when talking about any of the people who stand for AEW. You see, you get people coming up and down the comment section on my videos. I see people going back and forth all day claiming the fucking what do you call it now? The buzzword of the day in professionalism. I hate that. Screw the tribalism. But look at the wrestlers. Who are the ones engaging in social media all the time, consistently running their dick lips about this company versus this company, or this ideology versus this ideology from a wrestling perspective, or why does this wrestling company get to act like this and this wrestling company get to act like this, but we consistently go after this wrestling company in this manner? It almost seems like the wrestlers and themselves are perpetuating the tribalism. And then when we start to get in on the action, right? Oh boy, they don't like it when you get in on the action, because you have to support them. You have to support their upstart. You have to support the thing that professional wrestling is built upon, which is the in-ring action. And if the one company does the in-ring action and they put that as the number one thing in regards to meritocracy versus the opposite company, where it's all about putting people in the right places because they actually look good for television and actually matches their character and it matches the tone and the script of the show that's going to be utilized in order to get the show over. Well, gosh darn it. Put that underneath everything else. You do understand at the end of the day, this is where Ricochet is coming from, right? You do understand at the end of the day, the more and more you hear Ricochet talk and he bloviates and he outwardly tells you how he actually feels, and yet people, and mind you, the slick part about all this, and I'm gonna end this on this, I love how the slick part about this, it's almost like the MVP situation a couple of weeks ago, or I guess a couple of months ago at this point, right? With the whole, I'm gonna spill the tea on Triple H and how he treated us in WWE, or I'm gonna spill the tea on Triple H and how big of a racist he happens to be backstage. Notice how MVP will never use the words racism or never use slanderous words, right? Because once again, that term, plausible deniability, I'm just gonna state what happens to be the case in everyday life as far as negativity happens to be, right? Things happen for a reason. But I'm just gonna kind of insert that I'm black and I happen to be in that spot. And that negative thing that happens to every superstar is now happening upon me, a black man. Now, I'm not saying he's racist. I'm not. I'm just saying that I'm black. And it's something negative. And it's happening to me. I'm going to leave it up to you guys to say whether or not it happens to be racist without letting you know that I think it's fucking racist. That's Ricochet in the end of the day, right? You play up the tribalism, you play up this vitriolic nonsense, and then people say, it's all a gimmick, brother. Ricochet doesn't have to sit there and say it's a gimmick, because the dumb fucking losers who are tribalistic within themselves, the same people that Ricochet stands for, will never call them out on their tribalistic behavior. Oh, that's right. Once again, because they're on their knees in regards to what represents his company at that time. No, Ricochet never has to say whether or not, oh, I'm playing the gimmick, because these guys are going to say it for him. When are y'all going to understand? When are you guys going to get it? When are you guys going to stop being so foolish and letting this guy get away with this? He can do it all he wants to, but I would just like for people to understand what he's doing. That's it. That's all I'm saying. Let him continue doing what he's doing, but let people at least understand what he's doing, so they can then choose whether or not they want to dismiss this bald-headed dunderfuck's retarded rhetoric when it comes to grandstanding on any issue. That's all I'm saying. Give them the tools, teach them how to use the tools, and let them be. But give them the tools and teach them how to use the tools. That's all I'm saying. But let me hear you guys talk about it amongst each other in the comment section. Oh, Devontae, there you go again, going after my favorite doppelganger of Andrew Tate. Oh, I hate that screwy millennial. I know, I get it. I'm not here to rain on your parade. I'm not here to bust your bubble. Like I said, here's a screwdriver, okay, here's a hammer, and here's a nail. Which tool do you use? I say use the hammer. I'm gonna walk away. If you use the screwdriver, that's on you. Don't say I didn't tell you to use the hammer, because I absolutely did. And then I gave you a hammer. You just decided to use a screwdriver because you wanted to be your own self, which ended up making you out to be the world's biggest retard. Don't blame me for you being a retard, but you're still retarded. As always, my name is Devontae, aka Millennial Smart, and I'll be catching you fine folks later. A deuces and a peace.